Ayo,
Yeah.
let's talk about education.
Yeah.
Let's talk about education. Now, we're talking about the fact that you went on to do your PhD.
Yeah.
And we live in a society today where most young ones believe education is a fraud.
Yeah.
That it is just to collect our money, that through student loan for those in the UK,
Yeah.
or those back home, they just collect your school fees and everything. At the end of the day, give you a paper certificate. And one could then, based on that logic, argue that the people like you who have done their doctorate and have studied have even been defrauded the most. What do you think about that?
There's this saying, it's an old saying, knowledge is power. Interestingly, your name is knowledge.
Power. You need to remember that.
So knowledge is always power.
Well,
I think the problem with
let me correct that.
Yes.
Knowledge is not power, but the application of knowledge is
Of
power.
course.
So that assume that everybody who gains knowledge applies it. There are a lot of people who gains it, but they don't know what to do with it.
I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
But when you start, but that's wisdom, right? It's not just when you have knowledge.
Wisdom is the application of knowledge.
Exactly. So that's the place of wisdom, and it's not just applying; it's knowing how to apply it. You know, it's understanding, is knowing how to apply. I think the problem with education is that I think that's what we're saying. People see it as we missed out the purpose of education, and that's why you see that everybody who is successful is a lifelong student. Bill Gates and the Elon Musk of this world still read a lot.
Still learning.
Even the old man in the village who does not go to school is still learning. Perhaps it's not learning from books, but it's learning. And that is what education should be. You see, I was talking about principles now. Look, let me tell you one thing about principles. Let me use something simple. If I jump from the roof, I'm going to crash. Before I jump, the decision is mine. The moment I step out and jump, the decision is no longer mine.
Yours.
The principle, gravity is going to
pull you down.
Yeah, and that's the way it is in life. When you take the right decisions, when you are working based on principles, largely, often there are a few cases, extreme cases where things may be unfortunate, you know, but that's not the norm. That's not the norm. 99% of the cases should
fall in line.
And if that is it, because we can't build our life on extremes, we should build on what we know. And in fact, if you look at our proverbs in our culture, they come from the place of wisdom. They are knowledge. It's a way of training people. So what I'm trying to say is that, but we miss out on the purpose of education. We see it as if I finish the degree and I get that paper, I get money. And that's why people are disappointed. That the university education will not give you money. It's useless. But when you understand that education is about discovering yourself. I tell people when you go to the university, you want to discover who you are. You want to discover yourself. A lot of people don't even discover themselves. They don't even know when they study the best time for them to study. They don't understand how they function as a person. These are the things you should discover in the university. You want to discover your network in the university. You have these friends that last for a very long time. But much more importantly, you want to begin to understand principles. What do we learn in physics? There are principles that governs our physical world. Chemistry, there are principles that governs, you know, chemicals or whatever, simply put. And this is it. But they don't teach you about money.
Nope.
But it doesn't, but you can read and write. And it's about now you taking yourself out and begin to understand principles that governs a good marriage, that governs wealth, that governs, maybe you're thinking of politics. What are the principles that makes a nation great? So it's about, that is the purpose of education. But if you think it's about paper and wearing that graduation gown, then you've lost it.
That's the key point there, because most people think it's all about, you know, getting that certification. And they believe that certification is their key to success. No. It is what you learn on the journey to attaining that certification that is the key that unlocks your success. But if you do not learn anything, you go through that journey without learning anything,
and you discover it's useless. Yeah.
And that's why we have people who tell you, oh, I have first class, I have second class, I have 2-1, and I have no job.
Yeah.
Because you went through school, you have a certification, but you learned no principle.
Exactly.
So now you have nothing to apply.
Because when you understand principles, you can always find a way.
Oh, yeah.
You will find a way.
Oh yeah, I've always said that if you believe you truly went through school and you learned something, then you should be able to create an opportunity for yourself.
Oh, yes.
You cannot sit down and be complaining about the government.
Yes.
That is the first indication that you learned nothing in school.
Yes.
Forget about the certification they've given to you. You only just ticked some box that met certain people's criteria. So they gave you a certification.
So education opens up options to you. You have to take it. It's an opportunity. You have to take it. If you don't take it, if you look. When I did my undergraduate, I was sincerely like that. I mean, I learned stuff because I always wanted to learn stuff, but not so much. I'm not sure I really understood the purpose of education. But then I went to work. I was in the bank, and then I came back to the UK for my master's. That's when we met.
Yeah.
You see, the attitude to learning when I came for my master's was different. I had been in the workplace. I understood what was needed. I knew what I wanted. So when I came for my master's, I was very deliberate about the kind of courses I took. I remember having a chat with one of my professors, and he was like, oh, these 2 courses, it's an optional course. Which one should I take? And he was like, this one is easy, that one's a bit tough. I went for the tough one. Not because I like to do things the tough way, but because that tough one's opened up some opportunity in the market for me that was not there. I mean, that tough one, I've been looking for the opportunity for since I was in my first year in the university. And I found it in my master's. So definitely, I didn't care if I was going to get a distinction or not. I was more interested in what I understood. So when I asked questions from the lecturers, it was different. I'm not just trying to do a tick box exercise to pass and get a distinction. I needed to know stuff that I could use. Literally, if I walk out of this university, can this education produce money, or can it produce the success I want? That was the way I was thinking. And if we had that attitude to education, it would be easier for us.
That is why in the society we live in today, you see people who made first class failing, and people who graduated by the skin of their teeth succeeding because they understood the common one was when we talk about Wole Soyinka, who made third class in Nigeria and then came to Europe and did very well. And that guy has won multiple awards.
He's a genius.
He's a genius. Because he understood principle. Yes, he did not satisfy the box of his examiners in Nigeria, but he understood the principle of what he needed to understand.
And that should be, you see, like I said, principles are usually universal, right? So if you are in a particular location and maybe the system is frustrating you, as long as you know those principles, you will find a way. If you don't know principles, it doesn't matter. You could leave one country, move to another one. There's this saying, it says, if you are a lizard in say Nigeria, you're not going to get to Canada or America or Saudi and become an
alligator.
No, alligator.
You're going to be a lizard.
You're going to be a lizard. It's just going to be a lizard who lives in Saudi Arabia or a lizard who lives in Canada. You're still going to be struggling and doing the same thing. You're going to make more money, but you're still going to lose all the money. You're still going to be chasing up your peers because you never really learned. But you see that if you're a lion anywhere, you're a lion. Are you getting it? So when you have your education, you really learn. And you learn, but it's not just learning, it's also learning how to learn and unlearn. You learn some things, you have to learn how to unlearn. And then learn it's a lifelong thing, and that's how we progress, really.
So if you were to give an advice to a youth out there who are either those who are seeking to go into uni or those who are already in uni, what would you tell them?
I'll tell them to focus on 2 things. Discover yourself. It's an opportunity to discover yourself. It's a very safe space to discover yourself. Are you getting it? When you get out,
if you're not distracted.
The distraction. I mean, the distraction is there. I'm not saying you don't have a life. You should have a life in the
But funny thing, the thing we call distraction, though, could also be the means of discovering yourself. Because when I went through uni, during my undergraduate years, one of the first things I learned about myself was my ability to network. And that was my strength through uni and through life, my ability to walk into a place and create that likable environment. And you live there, people remember you.
Exactly. So those are the things you want to discover. You want to discover how you
your
function.
strengths.
And you know why I said the university gives you that opportunity? Because outside, people are not so forgiving when you make mistakes. But as a student, you can get away with a lot of things. For example, in the UK, you get discount on everything. Even when you get on the bus, you can get a discount. If you go to the movies, you get a discount. People give you a discount. People are willing to forgive your mistakes.
As a student.
And that's the best time to learn.
Because
when you miss that opportunity,
you miss that opportunity, you step inside. They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
So you want to discover yourself. You want to focus on learning. I did mathematics, and it's an abstract course. And I know sometimes I question, why are we learning this stuff? Are you getting it? But hindsight, not everything has been useful in my field, but in hindsight, it's made me develop a thinking that.
But that's the thing about mathematics. You know, for true mathematicians who actually understood what they did, they know that the benefit of mathematics is that it expands your thinking ability.
Yeah.
It opens your mind to look at things logically and question things differently from the way the rest of the world sees it.
My friend, is massive if you can do that. If you can be logical, can think through things logically, it's massive because really you're looking at patterns,
trends, everything.
All of that, yeah. So
it's nice to have you here, AY. Again, if you missed the beginning, we're talking to Ayo, a PhD holder, a doctor from University of Leicester. He has his doctorate in mathematics, multiple degrees in mathematics. I don't know why people love reading and why they love mathematics like this. I gave up after my master's.